What's up, y'all? How you doing today? Hope you're all well. There will be no sample pack or plugin review today. The drive is still not booting up, so before I start the real tech first aid on it, I have decided to plug it in one last time and ask it very nicely to sit and think about working. I'll tend to it after the stream. So in the meantime, we're going to make some stuff, do some more feedback for you guys, and have some fun. So happy hump day to you. Let's kill this noise over here. And dig in, do something fun. Let's talk about what you guys are doing today. What are you doing today? Anything fun? Anything different? Anybody working on a project that's got them completely jazzed? What's up, Eric? How you doing? Saf, hello. Coffee tables, hello. And Purple Pros. The gang's all here. And to whatever early lurkers we have, hello. Let's, what do I want to start with? Maybe some kontakt and some alchemy. Let's see. Maybe kontakt first. So although I'm still riffing on the cinematic library right now, we're just about to get started on the mix down of a whole bunch of stuff. So all this stuff becomes much more applicable to all of you just making music out there for the sake of making music. Sometimes I like to flip through some of my older releases and incorporate them in fun ways into new releases. So let's do some of that. Let's see. Snap to 0 crossing. All right, let's see if we can get this synced to some kind of a beat. Let's see here, maybe, Okay, so maybe we'll do a couple of little loop ambience and a couple of straight up. Let's layer in some fun stuff with this one. Let's try this one. Just toss it into the same instrument, set this thing to Omni. Oh, it's badass. Eric, really, you haven't seen me pull out Kontakt in all these streams, man. How you doing today? Okay, just for giggles now, we're going to try putting in maybe a string of some kind, huh? Just for a little thickness down low. Maybe we could even do an analog strings in there. There we go. Let's go. That fly's great, right? Let's bring it up so it doesn't sound like a fly anymore. Oh yeah. That sounds pretty good in there. All right, let's get let's get a little portal on this. Cream it out just a little bit. Let's get this thing moving a little bit, huh? All right, let's get a little loop action going on both of these. Make them long. As long as we can and keep them sounding good. Oh man, Eric, yeah. All right, let's send this all through a nice verb. Let's add a little digital shine to this. Polish this off with a nice little washiness. Let's put this one through right before our reverb. Put the clip on the out there. Frenty Letico, hello. Okay. I think we've got ourselves a winner here. Let me just go back into Kontakt really quick. And we're just gonna get out of the wave editor, and on our instrument, we're just gonna put a filter here. Little high pass. Solo this really quick. Just gonna let those subs shine out of that, those low strings a bit more. Okay. And we'll do the same with our drone here. Because our strings, actually on this one, this particular key, we should take this one down. So we'll do that really quick. All right, now this one should feel nice and low. Let's just give it a little tiny bump here. We'll do a 3-pole here. And just bring this down to the point of sub cutoff and add a little resonant peak there just to give it a little, Frontier Let It Go. Hopefully I'm not slaughtering the name there. No, we just fired up the stream and just getting started. So if you'd like to drop something, a link in the chat, feel free. Hang tight for just a bit and we'll get to it. If it's your first time here, give a follow so you know when we're on next. We do a lot of community projects together. If you like what you hear while you're here, you can sub. There's still a chance to get a bunch of free sample packs off the Discord for a little holiday special. Ocean! Welcome. How you doing, Josiah? I still need to put your samples up from yesterday. I will do that. I got a bit wrapped up with sessions and deadlines yesterday, so I didn't get the chance to circle back. All right. Yeah, we are doing all right. Saf, I want to hear more about your idea, why you're meeting with some devs. What's this, you thinking about working on a little plug-in project? All right, where are we on this? You know, it'd be really nice on this one is an old school Renaissance. Let's just, I'm gonna save this really quick before I go any further. Today is the 13th, y'all. Holy cow. What is today's little thing? Environments and ambience. This is more work for the upcoming cinematic library release later this year, and all of the trimmings from all of this will probably be put into community sound packs for you guys. Renaissance. Just because, you know, it's really gritty. It's got like a really nice old school kind of lax attack on it. And Damien is here. How you doing, y'all? Damien, it's been a minute since you've had the chance to raid, huh? How did the stream wrap up over there? Okay, that's starting to sound pretty good. Phosphor, welcome back, sir. Yeah, I know you've been super focused. How's the beat accelerator going? Drop links in chat, by the way. Let everybody know. Damien, if those who are here before the raid are not familiar yet with Damien Taylor's channel, go check it. He is in the chat right now. Just click on his name, hit follow. He's usually on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and he's kicked off a new network, the Complete Producer Network, as well as a new Beat Accelerator program. For those looking to get in an inside track on all of this, 6-time Grammy-nominated wizard over there. So be sure to check him out. Oh my goodness, greetings from sunny Maryland has been trademarked. Paul, hello. And greetings from bright blue sunny skies, Portland. There's not a cloud in sight, which is great because we had a massive finish to the 3-day storm that we were having last night. Branches dropping on the roof all night. It was great. All right, let me bounce this one sound really quick, and then we'll get to this link for feedback here. I think as that little feedback swell grows, I think what we'll do is we'll actually pitch bend that down just for more dramatic effect. Seeing that it's for a cinematic library, should probably stay in that dramatic tip. All right, we'll use this as a general template for this one. So we'll call this, what? I have no idea. Dank and gritty for now. And I'll remember I want to put a little pitch bend on that. The pitch bending continues. C. Bailey, how are you? Welcome. So, yeah, right about 30 seconds. On the money. Nice. Okay. And on this one, let's just open up automation lane here really quick and do a pitch bend down. And we'll say for the entirety of that 4th bar there, we'll just bring it. Wait, hold on a second. What am I thinking? 4th bar. So maybe we'll actually do this from 7.5 on and just curve that bend. So we've got this little hang and drop effect. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, that brought out a little Formanty, like little vocal choir kind of effect there at the end. Astronomicon, hello, how are you? All right, so we'll call this Dank and Dark since it's got the dark bend in it. They'll be twins. It's nice that we got a little Damien injection today. I've missed you guys. Let's jump over to a little bit of feedback. Astronomicon, you are number 2 in line. Frente Letico, you are up. All right. Is this the one? Looks to be. All right, here we go. You just looking for feedback on the entirety of the track or the sound design in it? Just everything?
어키난 되돌이보단 추운 가운데 헛기우치하고 노른자의 판가름에 인치에 내 말이 귀가 늘어났으니 걸어오네 자리에서 전부터 난 연구하지 평가 전부 고마워지네 깔끔해 혀걸음이라고 생각했던 조강이란 덤에 특히 구섭의 제작비를 갖다가 버린 90ppm에 나를 각인시킬 곡을 만들어내 나를 믿고 맡긴 투자자들은 투항 이후 달라진 건 사람들은 나란 놈의 불만 떠들어 누가 요새 속사포 랩을 하냐고 그들은 말을 씹는데 음악은 음악 갱신하고 더불어 아직까지 내가 보여준 게 없다 말해 그래서 만든 정규앨범 네가 지금 듣고 보는 랩감이 우리 다르다고 말했잖아 제발 자신 있으면 몸으로 올라와서 나랑 붙어보자 그까지 증명해주겠지 나는 자신 있다 말했고 나를 믿지 않은 반대편의 친구들은 망했어 네가 걱정하고 두렵다던 시꺼먼 배경도 결국 말아내던 공은 항상하게 됐어 난 감으로 뱉고 노력의 배경으로 둔 최고 불가능해서 가능으로 뱉고 절대 배불러 틱틱 채워 전부를 뱅해로 그리고 내 모든 소설을 랩으로 담고 새로운 앞날을 획을 커버린 내버린 부정과 생각들 전부를 담아낸 앨범 데이 혹시 내가 바뀐다면 그때 나를
That's like Fushniken's fast.
내가 좀 바뀐다면 근데 그게 아니라면 냉보를 바라보면 지적이든 내 입장에서 감당할 걸 내가 뱉어냈던 말에 대한 책임 그리고 내가 바꾸려는 문화 바꾸려는 태도겠지 난 이 문화를 정말로 사랑해 그러니 이렇게 내 목소리가 들리기를 빌어 모두 베개 내가 무너질 거라고 말해도 나를 위가를 물어도 내가 하나씩 거라고 말해도 나를 잘알지도 못하던 내가 실패할 거라고 말해도 너로지도 너로보도 그 사업가 다 틀렸어 물어봐 그때 지금 다른가 하니 난 여전하고 똑같죠 네가 유치하고 양아치라던 힙합이 이제 몇백만의 사람들이 듣는 거 파치 내가 보는 거기 다 집을게 돈뿌리 돌자치 이제 저거 커져 난 조금이라도 울리길래 퍼져 나를 듣고 바뀌었다면 고마워 근데 그게 아니라도 난 내 목소리를 갖다 팔아 모든 래퍼들에게 이 비트 세워 내 진실이 퍼지게끔 행동이 전부 있게 내가 보고 듣고 느낀 모든 것도 빠짐없이 조금 미국이란 나라보다 이 나라가 더 힘좀밖에 난 기척을 만들어서 지배 불에 불씨 만들어 가고 있는 위치 진지껏 몇년 굴러먹어도 we keep it 가늠하지 못해도 파는 거야 나의 내 스킨 보수적으로 이게 힙합이란 말이야 나 터는 진짜들의 가시적인 말겨 소리들이 대표하고 대중들은 그게 진짜 힙합이라 믿고 있잖아 근데 래퍼라면 랩부터 잘해야지 말야 그 반대가 얼마나 쪽팔린 줄 아냐 스펙트럼을 넓히는 게 나쁘단 게 아냐 적어도 걸음만은 떼고 뛰는 것이 맞지 않냐 다운더관 진짜에 조금만해 나 본질을 잃어버릴까봐 불안해 수도 너네같이 거짓말은 치기 싫어해서 그냥 내 시대로 뱉어버리기로 했어 여기 한국에서
All right. First off, this is great. This is a serious vibe. It's great. Really reminded me of some like early 90s hyper stuff. Really nice dark vibe. I'm digging this. So I think that the biggest thing to focus on here, if you're looking to improve the sound, is just more separation between lows and highs. Is really what it is. There's a fair bit of just kind of this almost generic mid-range kind of feel, right? Like the sound is great, top and bottom. The bottom can be just a little bit more lush and maybe even driven by a bit of saturation at a couple different points, I think. And your highs could sparkle just a little bit more if you used, uh, I think with the simplicity of these sounds, like you don't have a very big palette here, so you could use a nested reverb approach where you take a very small reverb, you know, like a little plate or something that gives you just a little bit of um, bubble of sound to play with, and then you saturate that gently with something like a bit crusher, just to get a little bit of a digital edge on it, and then put on your larger reverb to then kind of space that out a bit, stretch out that effect. Again, you don't want to drench with either of those reverbs, and you want to make sure that you use the smallest one first and that it's quite small in comparison to the second. As far as your lows, to saturate those a bit more, I don't know what kind of, oh yeah, shout out to the Fushnikins. I don't know what kind of filter you're using on this, but you know, if you're sitting at like 36 per dB per octave curve on a low cut, you can add probably like a like maybe an 8% or so resonant peak right there, and saturate it just very gently on your sub, and you're probably going to get a really, really full, thick low end. You'll have to bring that down a bit. Or you can, if you're already using a similar technique with your low pass, then what you could do is put a maybe just like a simple overdrive, very, very low amount of drive, and target a low frequency that's really lush, like 80, 65, somewhere in there. Doing those two things would create the separation between your lows and highs. You wouldn't actually have to do much at all to the mids, so your vocals and everything would remain exactly as they are, and as they should. I mean, they're freaking great in this. So EQ your verbs if you're not. That could be part of what leaves the middle of it just a little bit flat behind the vocals. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, you're articulating very, very quickly. And you know, you can't have anything screaming behind lyrics like that, or you're just gonna, the articulation is gonna get lost. So if there's anything that you can scoop out around 500 in verbs, anything below 150, 250, somewhere in there, it's just gonna help create even more separation between the lows and the highs, because your initial lows, your pre-processed lows, will shine. That's it, really. This is a sweet track. You are welcome back anytime. Hope that helps. Aftershock, welcome. Mentioned Portland, and now you can't stop thinking about the food over on Mississippi Avenue in Fremont, right? Oh man, long live the cart scene. Fourfold, I agree. That was a nice, crazy track. Ooh, Phosphor. Good call. Nathan Peluso. Eric, I agree. I really liked it too. Homfu? Am I saying that correct? How you doing? Frenti Letico. Again, hope I'm not slaughtering that name. You are welcome. I hope the tips do help. Yeah, you can get some feedback. Thank you for dropping the link in the chat. You got another one in front of you. Astronomicon is up next. Not really, Saf. Actually, I would say it's probably more like 25 or 30%. We've been getting some really, really interesting, a really interesting mix of feedback requests lately. It's fun. Ambient. Well, ambient trap. Okay. Yeah. Aftershock is mostly hard rock and pop. Oh man, some spicy spoon. You know what? Pho came up in the conversation yesterday because Saffron works here, who was just chatting. Tried Vietnamese food for the first time, and it sparked this conversation amongst myself and others who've lived out in Asia, and we just absolutely miss it. Ocean does not make trap or hip hop beats, but the man knows his way around a recorder. I'll tell you what. Dubstep D&B. Yeah, we'll get more of your stuff in for feedback soon, I'm sure, Josiah. Paul, I don't know if electronic and ambient really covers everything that you do. I think that there needs to be a mad science genre of some kind, but it's got to have a good name. It can't just be mad science. But I would play in that pool with you. And country. That's what you use the CVC for, right? That about sums it up for SAF. IDM, Asian, experimental, ambient, techno, and dub. Yep. Oh yeah, Spicy Spoon is flipping awesome. Um, man, I just miss the Portland food scene. I miss being able to just go out and freaking live in Portland, you know? Well, anyway, really. All right, so this next one is from Astronomicon. We will flip down and we will hit this link from Humfao after that. Humfu. Hey, Phosphor says he's about 60% pho. Wait. Modular country seems to be a thing. I was just joking, but is this really a thing that's like emerging right now? And I'm just not really a part of it. Oh, man. Coffee table. There is no escaping talk of delicious Asian food. Oh, yeah. Big hugs, Aftershock. Are you in the Portland area? Should you make it downloadable? Astronomicon? Nah, dude, it's fine. Absolutely fine. Oh, and I see the title and the link here. The Ailerons Howl. This makes me wonder what we're about to hear. Here we go. Nice profile logo on this one. All right. This is good. This is this is a fun little ditty. How long have you been working on this one? And what DAW are you using to work in? Deep Dream Generator. The album covers. Huh. Hold on a second. Deep Dream Generator, you say? Hmm. Those are rad. Hmm. Those are cool. That's the first time that I've heard of this. This is it's a cool little thing. I'll have to check out that project. Okay, so to your feedback. Um, West Coast waiting impatiently for local Thai restaurant to open. Right? Yeah, exactly. That's why the pantry here always has backup bottles of all the necessary components. You know, oyster sauce, fermented chilies, like the whole spectrum, various shades of umami. All right, so if this is your first time here, I usually just try to catch up on the chat and see what other people are popping off with feedback wise or impression wise before I start blabbering. So you are not hearing the same thing from multiple people again and again. And I'm seeing Hom say piano's a little reverby, don't know about the kick. Melodic transition is strange. Lead thing is a bit off. All right, so all right, so you've got about 11 hours in. You're using FL Studio. Oh yeah, you don't have to worry about me hitting hard or telling the truth because I don't lie. So here is some good feedback for you. Again, good track, solid idea, worth chasing. The airy texture, the first one that comes in early here. This one. I'd suggest probably splitting that signal. Reduce the amount of reverb that you've got on the mid to low frequencies, so it's not filling up the mid range quite as much. Move it out to the sides, get it out of the middle, and you can drench that and create a nice little airy atmosphere out of that. And the pulsy nature of that sound will make a nice little rhythmic atmospheric bed for the whole thing. 140, where this transition comes in here. That could be a little bit bigger if you layer in just a little bit of sub or some bass right here, and it would have a much greater impact. And you can just do a slight little fade right in here leading up to that, including reducing the amount of time-based effect output, right? So like reverbs, delays, that kind of stuff. You can kind of minimize those things going into that, and then add a little bass to that impact right there. It'll leave this sense of hanging right here. And then instead of starting right up with everything, it might be nice just to let people sit there for just a beat before everything comes in, right? Make it feel really intentional. Let the gravity of the impact and the transition hang for just a second, and have some kind of an effect on people. And then these digibits, these little digital bits that start around 150 right here. Those little bright little guys here. Just that little ARP. That could probably come up and move around a little bit. So you'll probably want to make fairly aggressive cuts down low on this one. You can use a tremolo or an auto panner just to move stuff around in general, and I think that that's a good candidate here because it's got a nice little I don't know, it's a good candidate for motion. It's very consistent and omnipresent and melodic. It'll brighten up your whole thing. The bass seems to be more stable than the rest of the mix, which is fine, but it comes across as plain. So I would put at the very least just a little bit of filter movement on there just to help it kind of open up and breathe and move. Everything else in the mix seems to be kind of moving around. Let that take part in the fun. Don't go too crazy. And you don't want to move it in the stereo field necessarily. Just ebb and flow of frequency output is all. Around 250, I called it a laser lead, but it's the super bright high frequency lead. Right there. So this guy, it's good. It comes in a little bit hot, and because it's just these straight, uninterrupted notes, it becomes dominant in an odd way, to me anyway. So you could use something like a little tremolo or volume modulation, like every third or fourth or fifth one that you send out into space, it's just got a little prrr to it or something, right? A little wah 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 wah. So the reverb on the keys, I think it might be the wrong reverb. I'm not sure if it was too much reverb. It could just be that too much low is in there. Try going more traditional on this and cut away everything below like 500 and above like 6K or so and see what that feels like to you. It might help the bloat there. At 330, this synth that comes in, this might be this big peak right here even. No, not that one. Okay, so this last little leg here, and this kind of runs for like a minute. The synth that comes in is a bit jarring, not in amplitude, in timbre. It doesn't seem to fit the rest of the stuff, so the level of presence that it has in the overall mix is, I think, too much. And you're introducing a couple more elements here, and you're having the keys continue on in this melody, and I think that it's detracting from the keys. So if you're going to have these additional synths come in, might be good to keep your keys more focused and centered and push those synths out to the sides and reduce them, and make sure that you're EQing them to have a little bit less competition with the keys actively in that area. And that just brings up the idea of using your sides a little bit differently. Right now it feels like your sides are predominantly reserved for like reverb space, but you should feel free to use your sides a bit more liberally for this kind of music. And then at the end here, where this laser, that guy, I don't know why I keep calling it a laser, but this high lead is just too hot, I think. It's a bit too jarring. You're kind of lulling this person into this kind of almost meditative state, and then this thing comes in, and it's kind of blaring at the end. So Oh man, chicken and waffles. Oh. Astronomicon, yeah, for increased impact with this drop here or this transition, adding a little base layer in there, right? Just put an impact sound in, and it can even be here. I'll play you a really quick example of one that could do well for you. And I reference this all the time, but it's because these are proven heroes for this type of thing. Deep. No, where are you? Is it distant? Sub-distant. Something like this. Right, something that's it can be kind of muted or obfuscated up high as long as there's a significant amount of gravity to the low end. Then it's really going to bolster the impact of that transition, and it'll leave something that can kind of tail out at the end there. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, if you've got a friend that's really good with EQ work and they can take their time with you, that's all you need. That's all you need. Um, cool, you got a great idea for the owl screech. Haven't EQ'd the verb. Okay, yeah. Well, that's the very first thing that you should do whenever you're putting on reverb is make sure that you EQ. Don't be a savage. If you do not EQ your reverb, what you're doing is you're canceling out a lot of really important frequencies. Think of it this way: low frequencies are the drunken imbeciles at a crowded party. They're knocking into people, they knock over tables, they spill their drinks on everyone, they don't apologize, and they keep drinking more, right? That is what delay and reverb is in your mix. Those lower frequencies, they're wrecking balls. So if you cut them out of your your tails, they're never there to wreak havoc in the first place, and they just leave this nice little ear candy, this like fairy dust over everything up top, and it feels good. And now when you're pushing those things out to the sides instead of keeping them into the middle of your mix, what you're doing is you're creating more separation between low and high, and it allows us as humans to perceive a greater impact from bass. It also allows more energy to be given to the recreation of those low frequency signals by your speakers, right? Think about this. There's only so much juice running through your power outlets and running through your speakers or your headphones or whatever, right? If you've got the same signal doubled up twice and one is just slightly delayed than the from the first one, you're twice as much energy is being used to create those same frequencies a second time, and they don't need to be. So always, always, always EQ your reverb, and not just down low, but up high as well. Subvids, hello. How are you? Yeah, the owl screech. Yeah, sorry, I was calling it the laser. It would be a guitar noodle, wouldn't it? Oh man. You bet, Astronomicon. I hope that it helps. You've been producing for 1.5 years. You said like 10, 11 hours into this. You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep going, and keep seeking input and feedback from people. And don't take any one person's word as holy grail, because it can't be. um, well, to be fair, I don't like EQ'd reverb on certain things like standalone sounds. I like the entirety of some things. But if it's a big boomy sound, hell yeah, you got to EQ that all the time. And if it's in a mix, you EQ everything. Oh, man. Subvid says, hey, that transient master is ace. It sorted out that low-end mush question from previous stream. A treat. Cheers. Excellent. I'm glad I was able to answer another one for you. Owl, laser. You bet, Astronomicon. And, you know, I mean, it might be complimentary, but it's the truth. So take it. You've earned it. Can I show you how to EQ a reverb? Absolutely. Okay, so here's the thing, is that even if you EQ inside of a reverb plugin, it does not mean that you're out of the woods. You might still need to put a second EQ after that in the signal chain. So if it's a cumbersome process to be tinkering inside the reverb, or if you're thinking that you might share this reverb with other sounds, consider just using an external EQ for that. So here's a quick example of how to do that. I think we've got another feedback link in the queue. If anyone else wants to toss one into the chat, we'll get you in the queue as well. So to EQ a reverb, let's just say, here, we'll do the old school. We'll do the old school example. Do some long form and short form. Snare. We'll start with a very short form sound, just a snare. So we've got this. So first, the difference of running serial versus parallel. Okay, if you're putting reverb, even if you're using wet dry, even if you're using a wet dry balance, it's difficult to maintain control, because what you're doing is you're putting the room in the drum, basically, instead of the drum in the room. You can't control the initial signal once you start applying processes in series like this. So the entirety of the sound is being processed on some level. But if you send this out to a bus, and I know this is very elementary for some, but hang with me. We're just going to move this over here. And now that same sound, we're going to take out the dry. You never want dry on a send for just basic processing. And now you've got the original integrity of your sound protected, and you get the reverb. And you can control the reverb, not just the level, but the shape. And this becomes very, very important, because this is one of the bigger reasons to keep this stuff on a separate channel when you're wanting to put a sound into a space, not a space into a sound. You EQ the reverb. And quite literally, just putting an EQ after the reverb in the signal flow is good. And what you're going to want to do is take a look at the original signal, and where's the impact? Just below 300. But you know what? 500 is still super hot. It's got a really nice high end here. We need to take out everything from here, basically, really. So let's just take this up. And now you can just kind of finesse the spot that should be a focal point. The next thing you need to do is bring down your highs a bit. And again, this is all in an effort to preserve the original integrity of the very first sound, right? Let's do a really big sound that could be standalone. Okay, this one right here has a lot of low end. It's charging thrusters. So it's obviously, a fairly sound designy kind of sound. So instincts would say, hey, let's put reverb right on this. And if you do that, it's a big mistake if you don't EQ. And here's why. Because these low frequencies are going to fold right over on themselves. Even with a default reverb patch, which has the low spread way down, low pre-delay, it just becomes even more muddy. Even if all you're doing is using a built-in EQ on a sound like this and making it a fairly severe cut like this. You can then hear the original low end quite clearly, and you get a reverberated top. If you reverberate the low end with that already aggressive low end mix in play, it's going to be atrocious, especially if you want to hear other sounds in that mix. If you were to have a snare playing at the same time in there somewhere, and you haven't taken out any of those lows, let's take off that reverb. You just lose like half of the character of that kick. The kick hasn't changed. It's just that there are so many frequencies canceling out frequencies in play from that kick and this drone too. So if you go back in and you start removing those frequencies, you start to hear the fullness again from that snare. And those things can play very nicely together if you remove those mischievous low-end frequencies. Yeah, it can be tricky. You don't want to get in the habit of using just a low cut or a high pass to manage everything, because not all sounds have that same low end cutoff point. And that's where the roots of a sound are, the life force of a sound, like the bulk of the stability of most sounds is down low. So that's where the shelf comes in handy. And so when let's go back to this EQ shape here really quick. It's not uncommon to see things like this, where you've got, like a fairly specific cutoff point, and then you've got this, let's bring down that resonant peak there. And then you've also got this shelf that's kind of pushed up a little further. So instead of rolling off all of the low frequencies all the way up to 200, you can aggressively cut away subs and then just attenuate the frequencies between, say, 260 or so. So you can still get the impact of the body or the complete, wholeness of a sound without completely cutting the legs out from underneath it. And the same goes for up top, right? You can choose to keep your highs rolled off like maybe at 18 or something, just to, worry a little bit less about pain points or something, and then roll this up to, say, like 4 or 5K, so you can worry a little bit less about like sibilance or hard consonant or S type sounds, or little squeals, or airiness that just builds upon itself and gets a little shrill. So there you go. Yo, what up, Sed? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Space Bats, how you doing? How you doing? You bet, Subvids. Hope that it helps. Getting civilized less. Battling savagery. Oh, man. Here, take this blanket. It'll keep you warm. All right, we got another one in the queue, I do believe, don't we? There we go. OhmFu drum track, drum kit, volume 1 demo. All right. You ready, Hum? All right, here we go. Not the right one. Hold on just a second then. All right, here we go.
They say you guys don't exist. Then what I'm fighting with ain't too far to believe that I'm fighting with God.
Wait just a second. All right. First off, where's my chat? Where's my chat? First off, first and foremost, thank you. This is freaking epic. This is great. This is art. So, there's a big difference. I know I say this a lot for feedback, but not everyone here all the time. So, no, Mac, come on. I don't tend to give the same kind of feedback when I feel like something is really, really art. I think there's a big difference between making something within a genre that sounds much like everything else in that genre versus making something really, truly unique. So here's what I got for you. At 125, the effects here. Where are you? Right here, I think. That one. This little... right there where it scoops up into that higher pitch right there. If you use just like a basic overdrive, you don't even really have to add a bunch of drive to it. Just target a high frequency, probably around like 7,800 or so would probably be a sweet spot for a sound like this. Again, you really don't even have to add drive. You're going to borrow the circuitry of the overdrive plugin for this, and you want to get the cleanest overdrive possible so it doesn't add a shit ton of harmonics to your sound, but you do want to, if you're really wanting the impact of that little squelch there, that would do it. That would add the shine. The pre-delay on the kick is a little wonky, I think. I mean, I really like the feel of it, but there are points at which it seems a little bit off. Well, it stands out a bit more, and I think it's because of the pre-delay. So there's actually a little formula you can use as a little cheat for this to get the right pre-delay every single time. All right, so here we go. It's where's my... Seriously? What the... Huh. Weird. Where's my freaking spotlight? Huh. All right, so here's your formula. What you're going to do is you're going to translate 16th notes into milliseconds for your BPM. So whatever the BPM is, we'll just use 120 as an example. So take 60,000 because that's how many milliseconds there are in 1 minute, and you divide by your BPM. So I'll just use 120 as an example. Obviously yours is slower. And then you're going to divide by 4. That gives you quarter notes. Divide by 4 again. And it's going to give you 16th notes. Now this is your median pre-delay number. Okay, so let's just pull up a reverb really quick so you can see what I'm talking about. At 31.25, you can say 31 is your median. If you want to keep the math easy, you could set it at 30 or 32. If you're dealing with a very short form sound in this mix, you can set it to 15. It'll be right in the pocket. And again, up to 60 for long form sounds. And that's going to keep it in lockstep with the timing, or like the expectation of our ears in relation to space and proximity. And I know that this sounds weird, but you've got a really artistic track here. And the last thing you want is an engaged listener's ear or brain dismissing your art because it doesn't translate as real in some way. So anyway, for what it's worth, there's your mathematical formula. Again, I'll just run through it really quick. It's 60,000. Okay. That gives you milliseconds per minute. Divide by your BPM. Divide by 4 quarter notes. Divide by 4 again. 16th notes. The reason why you want 16th notes is because that's your quick articulation point in most music. So there you go. That gives you a nice median number. It'll end the oddness in the slapback. You will still have the slapback. You're not changing your reverb. You're still going to have the same timbre and the same basic slapback. It's just going to be timed just slightly differently. Okay, anyway, at 145, is there sub in your verb? Let's go back to this. I think there is. If not, then your sub is just too hot coming in right here, I think. And I understand that you've just brought back in those low-end frequencies for impact, but I think that it's just a bit much because it does kind of obfuscate some of the clarity in this right here. And I think that you've got just an amazing amount of grit and texture in there, and that as much should shine through as possible. Vox, your vocals are flipping great, so why not bring them up like 2 dB and then put a subtle little EQ lift on the reverb EQ. So they're right over here somewhere.
They say you guys don't exist, then what I'm fighting with.
There's a thickness in the atmospheric texture and the pianos, and it sits right about here. And the vocals are just barely in front of them. And I feel like the vocals should be like here, right? So here's this weight from those couple of elements. So maybe what you could do is take off just a little bit of the low end frequency content in the reverb from the atmosphere and the keys right there. Bring up your vocals, like maybe just 2.5 dB or something like that, not a ton, but just enough to move them forward. And then give it just a tiny little bump, like maybe a 1 dB bump at around 4K or so before it goes into the reverb. And then in that reverb, give it a more gentle slope, like maybe a 1 to 2 dB bump between like 2K and 7K or something like that. I think it would add just a really, really nice amount of air there. And then between 140 and 220 in general, if you can go back and scoop some mids, like just out of your general ambience and atmosphere tracks in the project, even if it's just like 3, 4, 5 tracks and you're only taking out like 2 dB from each one, around 500, it would probably make a significant impact in overall clarity in this space in here, because there's a lot going on, and I don't think it would be good to cut any of those things out. But if you can help them each kind of disclose a little bit more in the mid-range by doing that, then that's it. Yeah. Yeah, there's so much textures, and I have heavily textured music myself. I squeeze in texture in every single little nook and cranny I can, so I get it, and I understand the importance of it. It's part of the art. I fully comprehend. You will not lose any of that texture by scooping mids. And scoop them all in slightly different positions. And here's what I mean by that. So let's say in one atmospheric texture track, you're scooping like this. In the one sitting right next to it, that might be some kind of like similar character, scoop just above 500, right? Maybe the other one is a little bit more dense and you're going to scoop somewhere between 150 and 250, right? And maybe another one is nice and airy, but it's certainly not the brightest of them. Then maybe that's the one that you give a little scoop of upwards of 5 dB around 2K, right? Just to cut down on pressure and pain point and thickness hotspots in your mix, right? All right, I'm gonna go back to the chat here and see. Oh, let's see. Verb is like cut off at 500 hertz. Is this comment from you that actually no, there's not verb is cut off at like 500 hertz? Was that about the sub? I'm sure it probably was. Maybe it's just the mix of the reverb. Like it did something kind of silly. It's a reverb automation on the master. So it's kind of bad. Oh, yes, that's exactly what it is. Take that off. Don't up the reverb on your master. It's just not the right way to go. Aftershock is asking, how do I tip? You can tip with bits. In the message box there, right next to the emotes, there's a little bits icon. You can click that. Go to ohmlab.tv and drop tips there. You can sub to the channel, and if you sub to the channel, you do get free sound packs and stuff. So sub now, go hit the Discord. I still have not taken down the bonus sample packs for the holiday madness. So if you're subbing today, you're going to beat me there. I will take those down. You can also donate directly on the OhmLab website, ohmlabmusic.com. Book private sessions and more. You can even tune in there. And soon you'll be able to sub there and have full access to full archives, unedited and whatnot. That's going to be great. Yeah, I should mix the vocals stronger. I agree. Video game music, movie music. Is that what you're wanting to go into? Is that right, Hom? Saf is indeed working his way toward it right now. He's been doing sessions with me for... How long have we been meeting, Nick? Well, okay, so the balancing between the piano, the flute, the strings, and the voice should actually be not that difficult because it's akin to... Hey, thanks for the sub, Aftershock. It's akin to rock music, right? Think about this. Why are instruments made the way that they are in an orchestra, right? Each one is tuned to a very specific frequency range, and that's because there is no EQ on the orchestral floor, right? In fact, to make matters worse, most often times the orchestra is playing in a very highly reflective and large space, right? So those frequencies are just swimming around up there in a big old soup. The reason why it works well together is because the restricted operating range for each one of them. The same way that a traditional rock band works, right? You got a bass, a guitar, a drummer, and a keyboardist, and a vocalist, right? Like they just sound good to each other because, or with each other because they're not stepping on each other's frequency space most of the time. So, for what it's worth, that shouldn't be that difficult. And if you're finding it to be difficult, then you're probably stacking them all up in the same stereo spectrum space. So it's not just about mixing to create space and flexibility with your frequency spectrum, but also your stereo spectrum too, right? So if you're having a hard time with, say, flutes and strings at the same time, put them on opposite sides of one another. And what are you mixing in? Because it's also entirely possible that you're having a hard time because you're working in, say, a balance mode versus a stereo mode or something, right? So in a stereo or in a balance or a mono mode, you're moving away entirely from output on the other channel. If you move it to the right, for instance, you hear nothing in the left. But if you're working in real stereo and you move it to the right, you're still going to hear some in the left. It just becomes more dominant to the right. Right, and that's a significant difference. So you can play around with those two modes, that type of mixing to find some form of isolation for each of your sounds. Don't worry about sucking at complexity, Saf, because less is more. You school them, space bats. How you doing, by the way, Rain? It's been a minute. And Aftershock, thank you. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. I am not too generous, damn it. People should be more kind. Oh, man. Um, oh, man, we've got Subvids trying to figure out if he's been listening to Sed. Sed, have you been putting some stuff out, dude? I'm glad that the feedback met or surpassed your expectations. Welcome back anytime. You can drop links in the chat whenever you like. Like, why make a bus when you got the master? Because. Because you don't want to be a savage. That's why. Well, you know, if you're wanting to make a serious run at it and you want to sit down and get some honest advice and mentorship, head over to the website and send through a contact, and we'll see if we can squeeze you in. Horror, yeah, horror and sci-fi are kind of like my all-time specialties, just because they come more naturally to me than anything else. And I've got just heaps and tons of experience in this space. So, Aftershock has got one for feedback. All right. Yeah, space bats, right? You know, rock, synth, and orchestral music. It's funny because everything has its roots in orchestral music. And, you know, another funny thing is I was having a conversation about formants and about the ways in which we're constantly being tricked into thinking that we're hearing, like, I don't know, if you're talking to a parent, they usually think that they're hearing a baby cry or their kid cry out for help if they have headphones on or they're listening to music or whatever. If you're talking to you know, a hospitality worker, they're constantly hearing like printers or people like customers like calling for them or whatever. And these things aren't happening. But it's the music that's triggering the response in our brains. And the reason is because of the way that the instruments were originally created and why. And we created these things that mimic the ways in which we ourselves make sounds. It's all nature. So it's no wonder that we're constantly tricking ourselves in numerous ways through music and sounds. It's absolutely fascinating to me. So of course they're all mixed the same way, right? It's just that some genres don't have a good balance in their sonic palette, and it makes it more difficult. Aftershock, are you in Portland? I love the little Scouts honor there. King Without a Throne. All right. Rock bands have instruments in different ranges. Orchestras are laid out based on their wavelengths. Since they're all the same, we've got to get them and place them by hand. Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. Now they're more defined and audible crap. Hey, how are the streams going, Space Bats? Are you keeping up with it? Battling low motivation and putting up with stupidity. I hear you. Well, you know, I appreciate the feedback from you, saying I'm so kind to give time and whatnot for feedback. I've been doing this for so many years, man. I can't stop. I can't stop. The whole reason why I even launched the OhmLab project, I don't even remember, like a dozen years ago or something, was for this very reason. Because our industry was being completely blown up by the old boys club, and it needed to stop. Who are my favorite drummers? That's an unfair question. Maybe by the year and genre? I don't know. That's tough. Mel Brown will always have a special place in my heart, just because he's a very special person in the jazz world, that is. If you're looking for like jam bands, maybe like Carter Beauford. If you're looking at like current soul funk type stuff, maybe Chris Wood. Um, um, Man, it's tough. It's tough because I tend to single out, I tend to think of drummers separate from the bands that they play with, which makes it a bit harder because I don't necessarily always enjoy the music of the bands that they play in as much as I do their abilities. I know, typical drummer answer, right? I'm a drummer, so that's a good question, Subvids. That's tough. Um, Brain, um, obviously, has got to be on that list for everything that he's done with, you know, the Axiom label and Bill Laswell crew to Buckethead and Les Claypool and all of them. Um, Garska. Ed Weckel, yeah. Um, it's tough. It's really so tough for me to pick them. I would have to make like maybe a top 50 or something. Um, it's been really interesting. So I've got a kid, he's turning 4 this month. He's been super to jazz since birth. Um, and you know, we go through classical stuff every day together, and we've made electronic stuff together. Like he's dipping his toes in the water all over the place. He's a natural drummer. Um, but it's really interesting to see his response to some of these drummers and musicians that I've always felt were like kind of heroes of mine for different reasons. And just to see like just the sheer joy and like the motivation and inspiration that comes with a funky beat from one of these guys, and like just how much it makes him move compared to other guys. It's just, man, so good. Said, are you out there looking to see if someone's listening to your music and you just don't even know it? Oh man. Yeah, we're gonna be here for a bit, so feel free, man. Um, well, of course, Bernard Purdy and Carlac. I mean, the Purdy Shuffle. Come on, really. Mellergard. Yep. Streams of Slack, but been on the studio working all the same, so forgive yourself. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Just stay inspired, right? Glad you're still feeling it, homie. So Aftershock. Oh, you were up in the Couve. Okay. Um, Orange County. Oh, were you traveling between Orange and the Couve just for the collaboration or what? And did you move down there for work? Oh man. Aftershock, you say you're looking for good, hard, constructive criticism. That's good because that's what I give. So, uh, oh man, Space Bats. Nico right now, he's just sort of last year he's been opening the fridge and the freezer all by himself to get like you know, his drinks and whatnot. And I hear you, dude. I look at the freezer sometimes. I'm like, I'm gonna have to chip the ice out of this thing again this month. Like, it's a perfectly fine freezer, but holy hell. All right, so here we go. This one is from Aftershock, and it's called King Without a Throne.
Now I've got to pretend this is all okay. Now that it's gone, the thought of about to break, believing it was give and take. I gave it everything I had. If I'd have been a better man. Now my life's been torn in two, and I'm blaming it all on you. Once again, I let you take through all my pride. So keep me sitting all alone, lost you without a throne. I'm not a slave for something good. I've gotta find a will to stand and fight. Sitting with the thought of you, all the things that we used to do. Never thought our love would end. I guess I'll have to start again. Living with the ghost of you, and all the lies you put me through. I wonder if it had to end. I guess I'll have to start again. Now my life's been torn in two, and I'm blaming it all on you. Once again, I let you take through all my pride. So here I stand all alone, lost you without a throne. I'm not a slave for something good. I've gotta find a will to stand and fight. Now my life's been torn in two, and I'm blaming it all on you. Once again, I let you take through all my pride. So here I stand all alone, lost you without a throne. I'm not a slave for something good. I've gotta find a will to stand and fight.
All right. So got some good feedback here for you, I think. Um, It could be the quote of the day. Just ready to start yeeting people off cliffs. Oh, man. Your YouTube channel has 1.3 million subs, so you travel for that. Family is just down here. Gotcha. Gotcha. What's your YouTube channel? Robots. You got a link? Paul, yeah, no stream this Friday. But we'll be back to normal next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's why we had the bonus stream yesterday. And who knows? I might toss in a little late night stream this week too. I was up against a bunch of deadlines for output, and I couldn't show off any of it. And that's been predominantly the late night hours lately. So I haven't been able to kick any late night streams to you guys because of that. Have fun with the Zoom. Dude, you bet you've had a few different Zoom reunions lately. Good on you. All right. So let me talk through these here really quick. Oh, Chase. Well, nice to meet you, Chase. I'm glad that you're here. And welcome to the fold, too. And thank you for the sub again.
The Game Boy Advance was...
I'm going to come back and take a look at this. This looks like a lot of fun. Is this your face that we're seeing in the video? Oh, yeah, dude. Absolutely. Trinkets. Destery. All right. So let's get into the notes here. I pull up the music again, just in case I need it. Okay, so the very first thing is go back and EQ all your reverb. If you have reverb on anything in this project that is in series, meaning that you put the plugin directly on the track that the sound is coming from, take it off and put it on an auxiliary send right now. And do not do anything else to the mix until you complete that. Every single reverb needs to get offloaded onto an auxiliary track. Don't have any dry signal on them, only wet. Make sure that you listen to your reverb first and that it actually sounds good, like the tone of it, the space of it, all of that. You were here for the pre-delay conversation, so run a calculation really quick to figure out what your pre-delay number should be. Take out the lows on everything that is absolutely not necessary. So we're talking complete slaughter on some of these where everything below 600 hertz will be removed, and others you'll leave it at like 200, but you're going to remove just a ton of low-end frequencies in your EQ mix. And then go through and do a volume mix, okay, just for basic gain staging. So that means that the number one element, the main focal element in your song should be the only thing playing. And you should set it at a volume level that gives you, let's say, 12 dB or so of headroom space. That's negative 12 dB. And then bring everything else up in relation to that. Don't do that until you EQ the verb. The verb is coming from Isotope Mixing Assistant, widening the tracks. If that's just on your main, if that's like on your stereo out, just remove it. Because it's hurting your mix, because it's reverberating everything and the entirety of everything, and neither of those things is okay. But you don't have verb added. Well, okay, so so maybe it's just a volume mix thing in general. I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of reverb here. So these vocals are cool. I like them. So the peak a little bit of the original signal through, and it'll help with the clarity of enunciation and articulation. It doesn't have to be a lot. It just has to be enough to help the transients of the letters, that the consonants mostly get through. And before you get to the 1 minute mark, like everything before this riser, you could even put like a pitch shifter on those vocals and add just like maybe a few steps up or something, just a little bit, or like a formant filter. Just eke out just a little bit higher through the formant filter, and it can brighten those, and it might help the vocals kind of sit above the guitars with all that distortion. And the synth is currently drowning out the vocals. The guitars end up doing the same thing. And I wrote bandpass in here as a quick note to myself. And you don't necessarily need to be running bandpass filters, but having the mindset of creating a bandwidth for a specific instrument or vocal effect or something like that can really help wrangle in and organize a project like this, right? If you've got these long, rangy, distorted signals, that means that there's a lot of extra harmonics floating around, which doesn't leave much space for clarity in the other elements. So if you can kind of bookend those elements in your mix and cut away frequencies that are not absolutely essential, and just trust that the other tracks in your project are going to fill those frequency gaps. An example, okay? You've got bright distortion. You've got some vocoding. You're becoming more and more dominant in the same space that those claps are trying to occupy, right? Those claps are probably only going to be able to be heard through a very, very small range of frequencies. So you can kind of start with a smaller sound like that and then work your way out, and you'll quickly find a way to find a nice confinement zone, if you will, for each one of your sounds. Kind of compartmentalize them a bit, and then spread them out in the stereo field as well to get you more space and less competition. Brightening the claps might help. They're a bit buried, and since you don't have like the traditional drum kit going in this one, you can also take advantage of the distortion field that's taking up a lot of the upper frequencies. You could work with gating that, or you could sidechain a signal into a noise gate or something and make it rhythmic at times. You could put a tremolo on there and bring it up and down, add a little dynamic wave to it. You don't have something keeping time up there in that frequency space like you normally would with a hi-hat. So find a way to help use that distortion to give you that. Your guitar drama is good. It's freaking great. But the volume should be dynamic and not static. So when those vocals come back in, that guitar's got to dip back down no matter how good it is, right? Because that's part of the drama. Oh, I skipped one. At 2 minutes, enhancing the riser. And what I mean by that, where is that? Where is that? So by what I mean by enhance it is give it a little impact at the very end. And I mean like a literal impact. And if you don't have a bunch of impact samples, just grab a kick, put a big long reverb hull on it, cut out the low end, like the sub low end, give it a nice little boom at the end of that riser to give the listener like a sense of completion there instead of just going up into those vocals. So listen to that one more time and just imagine an impact at the end of it. And even a snare build, even if you don't have a snare in the rest of the track, just like a nice little tight roll that ends with something would be another option you could go with in there. But I think that one more level of tension rising would be fantastic right there. And both of your piano drops are ace, just the floaty, empty vacuum here. And right here, as you're coming out of this one, a nice little reverse reverb swell would be really nice, or a reverse clap or a reverse snare, even just something to kind of lift the listener back up into this spot out of that really gentle lull that you go into. Michael Bay explosion? No, not a bass drop. And not that this feels boring and not anything over the top, just something to kind of reinforce the fact that you've kind of reached this peak. And it has nothing to do with what comes after that riser lacking. It has everything to do with the tension that you're building and how it gets released. That impact could be a stronger initial note. What is that, like an E on the guitar? It doesn't have to be like a sonic boom, but some kind of an impact. Cymbal doesn't even need to be a cymbal, but like a reverse cymbal, like it would come to a sudden stop. It would feel like there's greater impact there. That's all. Oh, hey, look at that. Trying to work trinkets in. You've had it for a matter of minutes. Already trying to get it in there. We need a Michael Bay plugin. You know, I think the Michael Bay plugin actually comes bundled, doesn't it, with the Hans Zimmer Brahm plugin? It's like a whole track of just these two plugins competing. It's the same sample being triggered each time. Cassette, yo, how are you? Welcome. It's been a minute. How are you? And then the little lens flare nuke button. Yeah. Oh, man. No, there are no Hans Zimmer plugins. I'm just being a complete wise ass. Wait, there's actually a Michael Bay plugin? Does it run in Reaktor? Oh, I'm doing all right, Cassette. Yeah, someone drop a link in the chat for the Michael Bay, right? Aftershock, I hope that all made sense, and I hope that it helps you find a bit more clarity in this. This is a good track. It just needs clarity, and I think the very first step is just to do a clean volume mix on this and to remove that reverb and to treat each sound independently from one another. No holistic reverb will work with this type of music. Cool, awesome. Well, you're welcome back anytime, and you can drop links at will. And I'm going to check out this YouTube channel of yours as well and see what it's all about. It looks fun. All right. And I'm going to circle back and listen to some more from Omfu as well. And gosh, what was Omfu's handle in here? Are you still in here? Are you still in the room? Let's see here. Hom, that's right. Dancing in the Dark, the music video, if you want to laugh. It's 80s Britpop inspired. Okay, let's just take a look really quick. I'm assuming that it's using the song. So we'll probably get the copyright slap down here. Sure thing, cassette. Just drop a link in the chat. Dancing in the dark, dancing in the dark. Oh my gosh. Well, no wonder you have so many freaking subscribers on this channel. It looks completely ridiculously hilarious. Cards Against Humanity. Oh my god. This is just... Oh, okay. Neon glasses. Neon glasses. Okay, hold on. Far right video. Neon glasses over here. Dancing in the dark. Hey, which record shop is this? I know this place. Nice glasses. They're dope. What was that? Was that Crossroads? No, it wasn't Crossroads.
No will to fight. Something in my head just doesn't feel right. I'm hurting now more than I have before. Your love for
Nice
me,
glasses.
So here I stand, my glass in hand. Another learning rhythm played by the band. When you left my life, I was quite surprised. If only I'd known I'd pay the price. Now we're dancing in the dark.
I know those shops.
Dancing in the dark. Dancing in the dark. Here I stand, nobody's home. Memories of you leave me so alone. I love you now as I loved you then. Never understanding why it had to end. I miss your face, I miss your touch. The feelings that I have are just too much. In empty space inside my heart. I can't believe you left me torn apart. The wheels of fate, they keep on turning, echoing over and over again. The same mistakes I keep on making, wondering who I should have been. Dancing in the dark. Yeah, we're dancing in the dark. Now we're dancing in the dark. Now we're dancing in the dark.
Date. Yeah, you're right. That is a fun one. Oraboo. Freaking ninjas, get off my lawn!
Dancing in the dark.
Well, it's always fun to see familiar places. And I'll definitely check out more of your channel. That's some good stuff right there. And I really like the anthology approach of different genre for each track. I love it. I love it. Orabu, welcome. Welcome. It's not your first time here, is it? Nate, how the hell are you, brother? We were just listening to some nice little 80s inspired awesomeness from our friend Aftershock. Is anybody else waiting in a queue right now for feedback, or should I bounce some stuff? Bounce, bounce, bounce. Ethereal music. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, right, cassette. Sorry about that, dude. We got a little distracted by dancing in the dark, didn't we? Sorry about that. All right. And the Ninja Raid. You got anything to share, Nate, that you're working on? You say ethereal, eh? Aftershock. Man. Where the hell did it go? Oh, there it is. All right. Are we looking for just general feedback? Cool. All right, here we go. All right, Nate, drop a link when it's done. You'll have next spot in line. My drive. Hold on just a second. My drive is back. I said very nice things to my drive when I fired up the... Hey, hey, hey. Hey, they're all here. Look at that. Nice. Sorry, brand new drive. We had a couple of odd random explosions and a power outage yesterday, and then drive wasn't booting up and changed our streams. Yay, my drive is back. Okay. On to feedback. Okay, first off, this is flipping great. That's just great. And I don't have much in the way of picking things apart here. I do have a couple of compliments for you. This is so true to the vibe. I mean, with a name like Cassette 87, it should be, right? But still, this intro is just... It's like a time machine, man. It's just great. I love the cassette noise on there. It's all just freaking great. And I love the constrained feel of the synth before everything opens up. On this funk bass, do you have a reverb on it already? It sounds like you've got a little something on it. If you put a very transparent, I gave very similar advice a couple tracks ago to someone else, but if you put a very transparent overdrive and target an upper frequency, and I mean an upper frequency, I'll just show you here really quick. You really don't need to add drive to it, maybe like a quarter or a half a dB, but target up high. For this type of bass, probably somewhere between 4 and 7K. You're probably gonna have to play with it a little bit because you've got that nice resonant funk character on it. But putting this on after a really small reverb is really gonna make that sparkle. Piano's a little hot, especially like my initial knee-jerk reaction was, whoa, that piano's a little hot. And then the keys come in right after it. And not only is the piano still hot, but it's a little crowded. And I want to go back and I want to listen to where they are in the stereo field in relation to each other. It sounds like the keys are more separated from the piano by way of reverb distance. I would change that relationship. I would put the piano on one side and keys on the other. You can keep the keys pushed back like that a bit. They sound flippin' great, but the piano's still a little too dominant there to hear the gorgeous sparkle of those keys. And this is like, the sound palette that you're working with is just freaking ace. All right, let's get next. Around 2, busy, busy, busy. So this area in here, this home stretch here. And I think what it is that it's just a volume balance thing and a stereo balance thing. So move things a little bit more apart from each other. And if you're having a hard time with it, then find the most dominant frequencies and play for your keys, for instance. And scoop a little bit out at those same frequencies on the piano. And then find the dominant focus for the guitar and go back to your keys and scoop out a little bit out of that range, and just make a little bit more room for each other. And don't be afraid to put a little bit more distance stereo-wise between them as well. Love this breakdown. Again, gave similar feedback, but right here at this dip here, it'd be cool to put like just a tiny little reverse cymbal swell or something like that, just to give it a little bit of bright white in there and just like a little kind of thing. It would really enhance this drop off here. I think it'd sound good. And really nice turnaround on the guitar there too. And just a general question, do you listen to much Prince? Oh, holy hell. You guys have been talking. Hold on a sec. Let me scroll. Anyone else get the classic rock version of Lin-Manuel Miranda? It's like Jump got remixed, right? Yeah, people are talking, dude. Van Halen. 80s glitch hop. Saf is feeling the Sailor Moon in there. Oh, man. Oof, that ending indeed. Yeah. Right? Seriously, dude. For me, Aftershock, I was thinking Wonderland, which is a nickel arcade. It's awesome. You know what? If you miss proper arcades, Space Bats, you want to know something else about Portland that you'd love? We've got legit arcades. In fact, adult-only arcades. Yeah, so you can get your swerve on and get high score at the same time. We do it all proper. Damn straight this could be in an 80s soundtrack. You got Purple Pros bopping. Everybody likes this. Everybody likes this. All right, so you think you've got a delay on it with like a 0.5 millisecond. Oh, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so right after that delay, just put a very, very small, not too metallic plate, I would think would maybe be the best one here. Very small, just like your delay is very small. So just creating a small bubble around it, right? And then target or put a overdrive after the reverb and saturate that reverb with an upper frequency target. It'll sound fantastic. Harmer, there you go. You listen to Zero Prince. Well, I'll tell you what. Go back and listen to some Prince. Think like Purple Rain Days, right? Corvette. You know, that type of mixing. Listen to some of that for like maybe an hour or so. You click through randomly, listening to an album from beginning to end, whatever. Spend about an hour and then go back and revisit your track while that's still like really fresh in your ears. You'll be able to hold on to some subtleties, and I'm sure you're going to find a way to arrive there with yours. Where's the link? Right here. I'll put it back in the chat for you. Well, if you want, I should let you do that, Cassette. If you want to put the link up in the chat, other people want to hear this again. It is motivating, isn't it? Yeah, quarters is adults only. Yep. Percussion and orchestral friendly budget person for mastering. Subvids, you can always send something to me and I'll put ears on it. And if I think that I can do it for you and turn it around quickly for you, you can just let me know what your budget is. We'll figure out something. If not, maybe I can make a recommendation for you. And just like that, Rain is moving to Portland. That was all it took. Of course Japan has the best arcades, Saf. Of course they do. You bet, dude. I hope that it all resonated with you, Cassette, and I hope that it helps you improve upon something that's already flipping awesome. It was from a secondhand store. How did you know, Bats? Quarters strip club arcade. Not really. That would be the worst. That would be the worst name for a strip club. Right. The combining of the arcade games and the strippers is probably something that will be done here eventually. As long as it's a vegan joint, I'm sure it'll go over well. There'll probably be like a microbrew operation in the back, right next to the change machines. And the video booths. It would, though. It would do well. Oh, man. So if it says, cheers, Chris, it'll be an album's worth done in lockdown. Something positive out of it. Yeah, no doubt. All right, so Nate, this is the current that you're working on. Oh, and this is outside the magic shop. Last one you brought earlier in the week was inside the magic shop, right? Is this for Orobu? You know what, homie? Super subtle tabla taps. No, sorry. I don't know why I said tabla. Probably because I'm listening to your music right now. I meant taiko. um, 30 seconds. Well, here, what I would say is super subtle taiko taps, just to ground the whole thing. And I mean, super fucking subtle. And when you bring everything up, it'll sound freaking ace. And you can alternate even between like tap, like you know, head, stick, or something, right? Yeah, I think that would seal the deal on this one, homie. You're nailing every single thing that you bring in right now, dude. Yeah. Every single thing. You have hit your stride, dude. No more doubt. No more doubt out of you. And we got to get a session in soon as well. Yes, this hold music needs some Michael Bay. You know what this really needs, Nate? Is a good old-fashioned tractor explosion as a high-speed train plows into it and a jet airplane is landing on the train tracks at the same time. Just subtly, of course. See, Orbu's into it. I'm hired. Yeah, I get it, Aftershock. Like minds, they flock together and laugh hysterically. I got a little bit of time left. Ah, damn it. Aftershock. Man. All right. Well played, sir. Well played. But I'll sample you and I'll release it under a different name. I've got servers in Russia. You can watch more of your videos with the time left. Oh, man. Big love, Omi. Good seeing you, dude. Let's catch up soon. Oh, man. Where were we? Watch the heavy metal song Legend of the Spooky Man. Polo. All right, so bear with me here. I'm just checking my my schedule. See how much time I actually do have. Not that much, actually, I'm afraid. Dun dun dun. All right, so you have to use both Slack and Discord. I have no idea why I'm not just using one of the two, right? How do I feel about Slack? I think that Slack is one of the better communication tools for teams. I do. I think that Discord is good for communities, and Slack is good for teams. But I don't see a lot of opportunity for crossover between the two because they serve two very different purposes in my mind. Rain says, I am done with the corporate world. All right, so I really only do have a few minutes left here. Hey, it's funny that you say that, Aftershock, because we actually received images recently of the lab that Space Bats was created in. Yeah, we should show you the pictures. See if you get a strong sense of home. Your mom? She's the one that sent us the pictures. All right, okay. We'll get off your mom. Let's see, what the hell was I working on before all of you people showed up and interrupted me this morning? I'm just kidding. What were we doing? Safe space. I wonder what one with a pitch bend, and I wonder what this would sound like. I do just kind of an exaggerated. Well, I'm laughing at a couple of comments simultaneously. I was looking everywhere for my coffee spoon, the counter, the little spoon dish. Perfect. That's awesome. Also, this place is as safe a place as my Dropbox link wasn't a Trojan. That's awesome. Saf, I will see you in a couple of hours. Take care, bud. It was in your coffee cup the whole time. It's like looking for the glasses that are on your face, right? All right, so just to play with this idea just a little bit more here. Let's see if we can't meet in the middle on this one. Orbu, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Oh, Rain. All right, I'm just playing here. I'm coming up with some ideas. When you build rather large cinematic libraries and game libraries, you got to think a little bit differently about some of the things that you're outputting. And when I look at the clock and I see I only have a few minutes before I got to bounce, and I don't want to start something new, it makes me think I have an opportunity to spin out a bunch of variations on something that I just made. Maybe automate this high cut on the back end of that as it fades out. Yeah, okay, whatever. So on to the next. Let's do something else in Kontakt here. I'll grab another one of my quick starts here. If you're wondering, these are all just samples from my dark pack. All right, let's do this foreign circuitry. Let's toss this in, and we'll layer this with maybe some rain. I'm thinking maybe some rain. Whole new levels of iTunes you out. That's awesome. Why does this sound like your stomach? Everything layers well with rain. Exactly what I was just thinking. So, back to the rainy day. Let's just grab, let's umbrella. Car. Perfect. All right, switch this one out to Omni here. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, you check the freebie machine? You gotta check the freebie machine. You gotta hit it on the side if it's not just kicking down. So on the Discord, scroll down, and on the left, you'll see a little room that says subscriber rewards. But seriously though, if you just hit the, like, just give a Fonzie to the side of the vending machine, your samples will come out eventually. All right. I think we're going to have to pick this up in the next stream, y'all, because I've got too many things going on today. Quick reminder, there is no stream this Friday. We will resume normal broadcast schedule next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I will see you next week on Monday, unless I see you in a late night stream between then and now. Thank you all for spending time with me today. Wish me luck on the drive. I hope it's all intact and all my sounds are still there. And if I do not see you before Monday or hear from you, I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks, Arbu. See you later, Rain. Aftershock. I hear you. The stream sucks. You had a terrible time. It means we're hitting our mark, but you can still leave a comment card for the management staff if you like and request a refund. Orobu, it was nice to meet you as well. I hope Nate hasn't said anything too terrible about me, because really, I'm actually a pretty nice guy. Subvids, thank you. To all of you lurkers out there. Oh, wow, there's a bunch of you. Anyway, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'm sure he does. I was just teasing. Nate's a homie. After COVID calms down, yeah, right. After COVID calms down, everyone who's fallen in love with the idea of Portland through the streams, we can all just meet up in a park somewhere. You can bring a synth, we'll plug them into trees, and we'll make a bunch of noise together and have a good time. Sad, thanks for sticking around, homie. We got to catch up soon. Kumbaya, bitch. Aftershock, you've been missing. You've been missing in the stream. Thank you for showing up finally. It's about damn time. Badass coffee. All right, kitty cats. I'll see you on the flip. I'll find a little something for you guys to listen to on the way out. Maybe it'll suck. Maybe it won't. I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.